Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Armando Cruz, the co-founder and owner of Cruz Country Fitness and Physical Therapy, where he specializes in helping men and women eliminate chronic pain and optimize their overall health through a unique holistic system. With over 2 decades of experience as a lifestyle physical therapist, Armando has developed the Suffering to Unstoppable system, enabling clients to become pain-free in as few as 5 sessions. He's also known as the creator of the Rich Man Experience, a coaching program tailored for entrepreneurial fathers seeking to reconnect with their purpose and improve their health, relationships, and legacy. With that being said, Armando, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thanks so much for having me, Milan. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Good. It's great to have you, man. We're gonna dive right into it. What I love to do with every single one of my guests is take it back in time a little bit, right? Before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
It's a great question. I remember being in college, and in college, I ran Division I track and field and cross country. I was a distance runner, but I was never the best. And so, in that pursuit to become better, I explored different levels of human performance, whether it was strength training, aerobic conditioning, it was rehabilitative work, psychological and mindset work, nutrition. And I just really fell in love with that. And I was just trying essentially to make myself a better athlete. And in that process, grew this love for performance and for helping people. And so people started asking me, and I'm like, oh, shoot, this is an actual job. This is much better than being in an office. So that's kind of the origin, that those were the seeds were planted, and the foundation was laid as far as the groundwork for helping others.
Yeah. I mean, what a position to be in, though. You just realize, like, oh, I can actually follow my passion and make money from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Armando, let's talk about where this journey overall got you and what the business really looks like today. In this part of the podcast, what I'm trying to do is really get the listeners and the entire audience close to, first of all, who it is exactly that you're trying to help right now, but also what are the core offerings that you have in place for your clients. So tell us all about that.
Who I help. Um, Going back to originally when I started the company, the idea was, oh, I want to, I want to be the guy that helps all the professional athletes, and I have nothing against that. And that's where I kind of started my first almost decade. I was in and out of that space, but there was something that shifted probably after the first decade, where I was like, man, regular people are really awesome too.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, but it was fascinating to me. The puzzles, the problem solving was fascinating to me, to see how I could help someone who didn't have everything laid out for them. In other words, like when I was talking about peak performance, it was like, hey, how do we improve 1 second to be at your optimal? Whereas here, it started shifting to, how do I help this mother who is an attorney, full-time mom, full-time attorney, full-time wife, and she can't even sit up straight. She has to do her work lying down on the floor on the couch because her back is so bad. And it's like, okay, well, that's a worthwhile problem to solve, because not only does it improve her quality of life, but it improves her relationships, it improves her impact, it improves her work productivity. And I just started finding these unique situations that later on I really realized they weren't that unique. I was just being given the opportunity by people who were struggling
Hmm.
because they had seen doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists, other physical therapists, and they were still in chronic pain. And that's when I started realizing that I actually have a gift and a system to help people actually get out of chronic pain when other things have failed.
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that you mentioned relationships as one of the things that are getting better once you get rid of the chronic pain. Because I feel like typically when we're doing just fine, when we operate on a day-to-day basis, there's nothing troubling you. You don't even think about what it would feel like if you actually have had to battle with something like this on a daily basis, right?
Right.
And this is really like affecting every single aspect of your life. If you're battling with chronic pain, you're not able to communicate. You're irritated all the time. You cannot really focus on anything you do. So, absolutely, this is a huge change of those lives of your clients. And I'm pretty sure that their entire life gets better after working with you. But let's get a better understanding of what it actually looks like to work with you. So, when it comes to those offers, now that we have a better understanding of who it is that you're looking to help, what is it that they get? What is included on the inside? How long does it take for you to really set the client up for success? And maybe the frequency of working with you. Just tell us more on that front.
Sure. Usually it begins with an assessment, right? Not usually. It always begins with an assessment because I'm not gonna guess, right? Like I'm not here to guess. I'm here to understand what your body is trying to say. Like one of the analogies I like to get to share with people is that I speak fluent brain and body. That's what I speak. That's the
Yeah.
language that I speak fluently. My job is to teach you how to speak brain and body so that now you can communicate like a marriage where communication is key. If you do not understand what your body needs, then you're always going to be at war. And it's one of these things that you can never separate from your body. So if you don't learn how to communicate, it's going to be torturous, right? So first thing we do is we do an assessment, really find, and by the way, you can come to me because your big toe hurts, because your neck hurts, because your wrist hurts. I'm going to look from head to toe. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to look at your nervous system. I'm going to look at your muscles, your range of motion, but everything from head to toe. Why? Because very often the thing is not the thing. And
Yeah.
my job is to really uncover what's at the core. The reason why I'm able to get the results that I've gotten in such a fast time, like more of the times people come into me and within the first 2 sessions, they have more pain relief or no pain at all
Hmm.
than they've had years working with other people. And the reason is we get to the actual core. What's causing the pain? And so when we look at something, I do an assessment. Once I figure out what it is, I invite them to, what's the best way to say it? I give them 2 to 3 options, good, better, best. Said, look, in an ideal world, this is what I recommend for you to get this result. And usually it's the analogy I like to give is like, look, we have these 3 programs based off of what I'm seeing here. Imagine that you're in debt. You're in the red, right? Financially, imagine that you're in debt,
Hmm.
right? So it's all the way in the red. At a minimal, like the most entry level program will get you so that you're out of the red. But any big event happens, you're back in the red. So it doesn't give you a lot of cushion. I said the middle tier gives you a little bit more savings, a little bit more cushion. Top tier gives you the most cushion, most, now you're investing, so to speak, you're starting to grow from there. And that's the analogy I like to share with them so they understand. I said, look, if you're the type of person that wants to make sure you cross all your T's, dot all your I's, and be in a position of control, then
Hmm.
this is the ultimate one that I would recommend for you. And it's different for everybody based off what I'm seeing. And then if you're like, hey, I, I'm skeptical. I don't know if I'm ready to commit because I've committed and everything else has failed me. I said, okay, take the first step. It's not like I kick you out after. I mean, I have people that I'm still working with 10 years later. And you're like,
Wow.
well, if you got them out of pain, like why are they still working with you? Well, because here's the thing. All of a sudden you come to me with this pain and I can't bend, I can't twist because my back is hurting. And all of a sudden we get rid of that. And now you're like, oh shoot, I have more potential. So now I want to try something new, but I'm afraid to try it. So now how do we bridge that gap? And then that unlocks another door like, oh wow, if I did that, can I also do this? And now how do we build a bridge to that? And so over 10 years, 15 years, like these doors continue to open. And that's, my clients that have stayed with me the longest, that's why they've been so long. It's not that they're in pain. It's just we unlock new things. New things either pop up or we have to figure out new ways to bridge this gap. Does that answer
Yeah.
your question?
It does very much so. It makes a lot of sense. And obviously, once I get rid of the pain, the best thing that I can do is just gain control over whatever is happening and make sure that I don't feel the pain in the future. Right. So it makes a ton of sense. And I also love the fact that there's nothing surface level when it comes to you. From the initial phase of really going through the assessments and really have a deep understanding of what's going on with every single individual client. That's lovely to see. In today's day and age, everybody can become a professional, a coach, consultant. So I bet there's a lot of people who maybe don't really go that deep into it because they only see it from the perspective of running a business. So it is very refreshing that this is the kind of pillar that you're building for the company and for your clients. But also speaking about business, though, you already know this, Armando. Founders Future is a business podcast. So we love to talk about the business side of things, anything regarding marketing, sales, operations. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, obviously having a good client acquisition system in place is very important for any business, right? I know that there is the majority of people that you work with right now are in person. So when it comes to this, what is it that you currently do on the side of marketing and more specifically lead generation to make all of this happen and have the ability to onboard these clients into your programs and have a bigger impact as a company?
It's a great question. And from a purely vulnerable state, I would say it's the area that I would say I have least mastery of and least predictability in as far as in our business, right? Um, I've again been in business for 20 years and hired different agencies, hired different coaches. I've studied, I've read books, and I've yet to find a system, an asset. I have yet to build it. This is the way I like to think about it. I've yet to build that asset where I know that if I invest, $10, I can get 20
Hmm.
consistently. I don't have that. And so I've teetered with a lot of things. What has helped lately that has been the most consistent is going back to basics, belly to belly. So I strategically opened up my office inside a CrossFit box for two reasons. Number one, there is a lot of traffic. You have people that are pushing the limits, so the likelihood of them getting injured increases, right? So
Yep.
set up where the crowd is hungry, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and then it's just quite literally delivering good, like great results and asking for referrals. That's usually where it is. So the other thing is let them experience it. So one of the things that I have found to be really helpful is I'll set up a massage table in the middle of the floor and I just start stretching people. And it's like, hey, free massage, free stretching for 5 to 10 minutes. And then once I have them on my table, they start feeling good. They start feeling relaxed. And I tell them beforehand, right? Like I think with anything in business, actually anything in communication, clarity is really important. So I pre-frame what is going to happen before they get on my table. I said, hey, how about we do a stretch? We'll loosen you up. You just did this work. Great. I said, just so you know, I'm not trying to fix anything here. In fact, you may feel a little bit better, but this isn't going to fix anything or get to the core of anything. So right now I'm just trying to loosen you up so you feel better. But
Hmm.
once I have them on the table, so they're already going in understanding what it is, plus they feel good. Then I have a captive audience. Now I can start having a conversation with them. Hey, is there anywhere that you've been having trouble lately with? Oh yeah, my back's been bothering me. Oh, my shoulder. Really, your shoulder and your back's been bothering you. How long has it been bothering you? Oh, how long has that been stopping you from doing anything you really would like to do? Oh yeah, I've had to adjust these exercises. I said, would you like to be able to do those exercises again? Yeah, that would be great. Okay, why don't we set up an assessment? And
Mm.
then now I invite them to do an assessment. I said,
I
listen,
like the sales perspective towards this, but if, by the way, if there is anybody listening to this right now, and you might feel that this is getting a little bit insensitive, but that's not true though. Especially when you talk about really setting up the place where people get hurt, for example, the CrossFit place, right? The way I think about it is there's a lot of these situations that we as business owners, entrepreneurs, we need to think about, but these people are getting hurt, whether you're there to help them or not,
right.
right? And this is the way to kind of like set yourself up for success. If you don't mind me asking, this is also kind of interesting to me. I haven't still figured out why for some people it's basically unimaginable to be a little bit vulnerable and have this level of transparency and be like, hey, listen, I've been doing this for 20 years. This is still something that I haven't fully figured out. But why do you think that is, though? Like, considering you've hired coaches, you work with agencies, what do you personally feel like is the bottleneck that has been stopping you from figuring this out?
I think it's twofold. Um, First thing is what we do is not traditional. And so
Mm,
many agencies, many coaches are used to creating systems that are more cookie cutter. Oh, if you're in the fitness industry,
mm,
oh, hey, offer this, you know, 20-day reset or do this. If you're physical therapy, offer this. I don't fall in either one because the message isn't that. It's its own message. And I think that part of the problem that they've had in the past has been that it's they don't really understand
makes a lot of
the
sense, actually.
the specialty of what we're doing, and
Hmm.
if the messaging is out of alignment, I don't get the right people, and if I don't have the right people, I can't help them the way they want to be helped because they're thinking they're coming in for something completely different.
Very true.
So that's number one. And number two, what I have found, especially in the online space, I have friends that work in the online space. I have friends who are media buyers, and they're like, he goes, I have a good friend of mine, media buyer for very like large internet companies that work with the top guys in the industries that are like putting in 50 to $100,000 a month kind of budgets. And he's like, man, in doing this from this end, like being on the back end of this, you need to have money. Like there's a certain amount of money that you need to do to really be able to ramp this up from 0 to 60 in a quick amount of time. Right now, you don't have that bandwidth. You don't have that income to be able to put that into place to really seek it to see it through all the way is
Hmm.
what he's told me. And again, not because I was paying him or working with him. This is as a friend of mine that's in the back end of the industry. That's what he's told me because he's known my struggle around that. And he knows the people that I've worked with. And none of it has produced results that paid for itself. In other words, I paid a lot of money out, I didn't get much back. So
Hmm.
to me, what that has me do is kind of you lick your wounds, go back to what you know works, and is not making a hole in your pocket. So
Hmm.
it's not that I'm against it, but when somebody works with me, I give a money back guarantee. That's another thing. I believe in equal incentives. So I don't take any insurance. So somebody that's coming to me is paying privately. It's a private pay, and it's not cheap. It's a high-end ticket offer. So
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly. And I tell them, I said, look, this is not this is not like, oh, I'm just going to do this because, oh, I have nothing else to do. Like, this is an investment in yourself. And I don't take that lightly. I said, the reason I do this is because it incentivizes both of us. If I don't get your results, you don't pay, like, I give you your money back,
Yeah.
but I need you to do what I need you to do. And so when there's an investment that you pay in, when you pay attention, right? As the saying goes.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I've been with this as far as, hey, like, why do I think it hasn't worked? I think people haven't been able to really grasp the message and then put it into those systems. And then I think the money, there's not,
Yeah.
enough
I,
funds behind it.
I think when it comes to the budgeting, that's like the never-ending story, the never-ending question. To be honest, I feel like there's a lot of people who, and it really comes back to messaging, though. I gotta give you that because you're spot on that. If you don't really have the ability to speak the client's language, literally, then it doesn't really matter what you do, what kind of ad you run, whether it's content, whether you're doing webinars, it's just not gonna work, right? But at the same time, I know that it is doable. I've seen many people in your industry basically setting a successful strategy and without doing budget like 20, 30 plus K on a month-to-month basis, right? So it's definitely doable, but it takes a lot of tweaking though because of the messaging issue, right? Um, Absolutely. Jesus, I would love to dig deeper into all of this because this is exciting. But Armando, since we still have a few minutes, what I want to ask is what's going to happen next, though? Like, if you think about the future of the company and really the next 12 months, what would you say are the biggest goals, targets, revenue, milestones that you have set for yourself?
All right. So big milestones. I know this may seem kind of maybe not that big, but for me to be able to have 6 months to a year of operating saved up. And the reason is that to me that brings freedom. To me that brings freedom because I know that now I can experiment. And if you're in survival mode, you can't create the same way, right? You're not going to teach somebody how to swim that's drowning. You have to take them out of the water first. You have to make them in a safe place from a neurological perspective. So I want to be able to create a certain level of certainty in the business, and that's going to require at least 6 months to a year of operating income, like just tucked away there in case of emerging, break glass in case of emergency, right? That's one of the big goals that I would like for 2026. Um, and then the other one is I've created a series of online programs that are products that I would like to have a systematic launching and an evergreen kind of funnel of those being purchased without me having to do. I created them for that particular reason. Somebody that, let's say, they can't afford what I'm, working with me one-on-one. Well, hey, look, I have this product that'll walk you through the same system, but you do it on your own and, it's a fraction of the cost. Okay, great. Like I want to have that option. And I've already created the programs. I've sold the programs, but there's a difference between selling the programs and the other ones is like the programs are being sold daily. Like
Yeah.
it's like somebody comes to me and it's, oh man, I'm not in a position to make that kind of investment. I'm like, oh, okay, well, what are you in a position to make an investment of? Oh, this. Well, I got something for you. Why don't you do this? And at least it starts making you move in that direction so that you're not stuck in pain. And that's kind of those are the two big ones that I would like to, because I feel like having this other income source would be helpful, but I don't want it to dilute my energy and focus on the face to face. So I would like that to start
Yeah.
working in the background while I work on the foreground on the belly to belly work.
And this could definitely also help with the operational expenses that you were just referring to. So, 100% agreed, man. It's beautiful to see because if you think about it, you're never really going to be in a position where you can help absolutely everybody who's coming through the front door,
Correct.
right? Like you said yourself, not everybody's in a position to do it, or the timing is off. There's several different factors when it comes to this, right?
Yeah.
So, but just creating something like this, and also in your case, creating content on social media that is free for anybody to look into, this is the way to go about it, right? And Armando, I just want to say again, I really appreciate you being so transparent about everything, because this is interesting to me. You know, it's when it comes to business, it's never just sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
So having somebody who's been in the business for over 20 years and still be able to say like, hey, you know, there's some parts of it that I still haven't figured out. It is inspiring. And this is why we do the podcast. So I just want to say thank you for being so transparent, taking the time, sharing the story with me and the audience. And if anybody from the listeners wanted to reach out, get in touch, maybe even work with you, what is the best way to go about that?
I'd probably say go to the website, Cruz, C-R-U-Z, country.com. And there you can see, you can set up a call and we can have a conversation. Like, the amount of conversations that I have. And again, this is another part of the puzzle, so to speak. The level of growth in your business is often directly related to the amount of conversations you have, and especially in the coaching world. So I always invite people, let's have a conversation. The whole purpose of the conversation is to gain a little bit more clarity. So all of a sudden you share some of these things. If there's a way that I can help you, I'd be happy to share with you how I can help. If I can't, my big thing is always like, who can I point you in the direction of that I know that can help? Like I refer people out all the time. I'm like, oh, you're looking for somebody who only does insurance. Okay, great. I know this guy. I trust this guy. Why don't you go see him and tell me what you think? And then I'll follow up with them in a week or two and be like, hey, how was it? Oh, it didn't quite work out. I said, hold on, let me find somebody else for you. And I'll call up another person. Hey, I got you an appointment with this person. Why don't you go talk to them? See if that's a better fit. And then they'll call me back. Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing. And by the way, I've gotten clients from that where they're like, a year later, they referred somebody that was looking for some. Hey man, I spoke to this guy. He was awesome, and he did that. And by the way, I do this not with any expectation. If it
Mhm.
happens, great. But I share that because I think being genuine is a big part of this as well. So
No, but to be honest, this is exactly how you naturally create a follow-up pipeline. If you want to call it with the sales terminology, this is how you go about it.
right,
So I would 100% agree. Just having conversation, genuinely wanting to help somebody, regardless of whether they're able to invest in you right now or not. So,
correct,
I always say, if it is a no, it's a no for now,
right. That's a
right?
great point.
So, yeah, Armando, thank you again. I really appreciate you. And to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency, and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io. Get in touch with our team and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da, man.